Hey everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. How's everybody doing? It's great to see all your smiley faces, everybody all across the United States and Canada, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, our international audience of lovities. That's right. We say this show has a lot of light, love, and levity. And in the summertime last year, I said the word levity. I just slipped out of my mouth. And ever since I said the word levity, everybody embraced it. And it's really, really cool. Our viewers call themselves the Lovities. They call me Mr. Levity. And we welcome everybody who watches. This is Levity Hall, according to our viewers. And I think that's fantastic. And we always have a good time. This is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series, sort of patterned after the old school talk shows, you know, the legendary hosts like Dick Cavett and Johnny Carson, Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, Dick Clark, some of the greats, Steve Allen and Tom Snyder, and mixed in with a modern vibe, modern twist of today. And thanks for joining us, everybody, whether you're watching live right now or you're going to be watching this later in our archives. We have an extraordinary guest that's coming up live from Hollywood, California, USA. Yes, she's the founder and president of the incredible Hollywood Museum. We're going to talk about that and much, much more. She's very entrenched and immersed in Hollywood and the history and culture and so much more. We're very excited to have her. DONELLE DADIGAN is going to be joining us on the show in just a moment, live from Hollywood. First, we always toast everybody. And before we have DONELLE here on the show, we're going to welcome you. And we're going to do it with our I Love Lucy mug. We figured we would match, today's content on today's episode. So we've got the I Love Lucy mug with Lucy and Ricky. And of course, all your favorites are here as well. We'll show those in just a second. But how's everybody doing? We just got a little coffee in there, a little afternoon coffee, because we have two shows today. DONELLE is with us live from Hollywood. And then tonight also from Hollywood and Los Angeles, we have Fox LA meteorologist Maria Corban is with us. She's author of an amazing new book about loss and grief, and that's going to be a very special episode. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We welcome you to the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. Again, I am your host, Jim Masters. Pleasure to have you with us wherever you're watching around the world. We welcome all the lovities who are watching. It's really cool to have you here. Spread the word about our show. We would also love it if you could click the notification bell as you subscribe to our YouTube channel. YouTube certainly loves that, and we love it too. It's the channel you're watching right now that has over 420 live episodes of the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. So check it out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the notification bell, which is the little bell icon you see right next to the word subscribe. You see that big red button on the YouTube channel there, Jim Masters TV. It says subscribe. Right next to it, click that, and then next to it, click that little bell icon. That's the notification bell. So that way there, you never miss any of our content. Live daily episodes, surprise pop-up shows, host viewer chat shows on location, and so much more. And also drop a comment on the episode as you enjoy it right there on our YouTube channel. And that's the video you're watching as well. We would love that. Give it a thumbs up. And again, today we've got an extraordinary guest live and direct from Hollywood, USA. And let's check in with some of our amazing, we always have terrific folks who watch this show, and they are so incredibly passionate about the Jim Masters Show Live. We love it. And let's check in with some of them right now. Karen is here from Nova Scotia. Great to be here with my lovely family. I've missed you all so much. We love having you here, Karen, from beautiful Nova Scotia. And she says hello to everybody. We say hello to you as well. We have an international audience. We're interactive. You can post comments live right now. Also do it on our YouTube channel. In Sweden, Jane is here. Good evening, all. Lovelies and Jim, good to see you as well in Sweden. Jane, Juanita is here in South Africa. Hello, Jim and Lovely Squad. Good to see you in Ontario, Canada. Merlin is here. Good afternoon, Jim and Lovelies. Good to see you as well. We love it. We love it. And we welcome you and everybody that's watching from, again, all around the world. We're based here in the United States, of course, and you guys know that. And we are here in the New York area, between New York and Boston, along the southern New England coast. Anne is here from Southern California, and she says, hello, everyone. Glad I checked my phone. I know this is a special episode, a special earlier time for us, because I wanted to really have a wonderful show with our amazing guest, who again is somebody who is so immersed in Hollywood and comes from a prominent Hollywood family as well. I love this shot of her here, because speaking at the Oscars, we're talking about Donelle Dadigan. She is just somebody who, she's a real spirited person. She's very passionate about keeping Hollywood alive, spirit, and all of the richness of the art of Hollywood, which is truly Americana at some of its finest. She's born to a family legacy in Hollywood. Her godfather was the MGM great composer that worked with Judy Garland, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and more. We'll talk about Jose. The first to receive a star on the Walk of Fame for recording, and the first to sell 1 million records, as also the keeper of the Max Factor legacy, which I think is something really extraordinary. We're going to be talking about that in just a second. Matter of fact, this Hollywood Museum that we're talking about, the Hollywood Museum, is located in the Max Factor building, which is beautiful. And so she's the keeper of the Max Factor legacy, and she's become the go-to expert on Hollywood history. And she shares her knowledge about the decisions and the beauty secrets for Lucille Ball, Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn Monroe, Jean Harlow, and so many others. Donelle's work with the museum, the Hollywood Trust, and the Walk of Fame, and how people can tune into social media really helps people get a glimpse of the museum's items and their history while during, of course, the pandemic. And that has been done so beautifully as well. Star-studded galas, events generally held at the museum as well, have included Emmy Award nomination parties, Oscar viewing parties, book signings for some of the biggest names, memorials to Hollywood's elite, and of course, star-studded exhibits to film and TV's greatest. She's not only responsible for creating, which is the current only archive of movie and TV memorabilia available to the public, having saved many film and TV treasures from being lost. She has also brought many of the industry's elite together for galas. Among them are Academy Award winning and Emmy winning celebrities, famous Walk of Famers, and so many others. I'm talking about names like Lily Tomlin and Julia Roberts, Ellen DeGeneres, Melanie Griffith, Tippi Hedren, Elizabeth Taylor, and so many others. And also, the museum itself is incredible. And among the images, that you'll see there, tributes to some of the legends, Lucille Ball, and some of your favorite shows as well. What she's doing is bringing celebrities together to bring Hollywood to tourists and fans who come visit from literally around the world. The Hollywood Museum and the Max Factor history is forever linked. And with that and preserving that is Donelle Dadigan, live and direct from Hollywood, California. Let's welcome her to the show. Donelle, thank you very much for joining us, and welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, Jim, or should I say Mr. Levity? Wow.
That's quite a distinction, quite an honor, huh?
Yeah, that's great.
As given by the viewers, which I think is a beautiful, beautiful thing. How have you been? Obviously, for the museum, it's been an interesting time, but you've stayed connected and creative and kept people updated. And you have some beautiful exhibits that have come through over the years and some really spectacular ones that are on their way. And we're sort of on the of the reopening since the closure with the temporary closure with COVID. How have you been, and how has the museum been doing along the way?
Well, I'd love to say that we've been great. I think that we've just been. That's what it is. We've just been, and now we're back into getting ready to reopen. We open this coming month, August 4th. And we're really thrilled about that. We have had so many inquiries and so many tickets already sold to this event, just to walk in at any time. And thank goodness, it's a lot more relaxed. Of course, we do follow the COVID specifications, so temperature checks, masks, not too close, social distancing, all of that. We still are going to follow that just because I think it's very important at this time. But I mean, to give you an idea, we're getting back into the swing of things. This week, we have a meeting with 20th Century Fox, as well as with the Disney archives, to talk about, once again, what do we plan to do? What do they plan to do? What exhibits would they like to see at the museum? So we're getting back to our normal.
That's fantastic. That's wonderful. And again, I'm so happy about that. And I know many people are, as they're excited to get back in and peruse and enjoy all of the extraordinary and exclusive, unique collection that you've amassed over the years in what is that Max Factor building. Let's talk a little bit about that. It's quite a special place with a lot of history where the Hollywood Museum is housed, right?
Well, it really is, and I mean, I have to admit, to all of your viewers and listeners, my gosh, until I wanted to open a museum, and we can delve into why and all the particulars of that, but I knew of Max Factor makeup, but believe it or not, as you can see, I don't wear much makeup. I put on a little eyeliner and lipstick for you today.
Thank you very much.
Well, you're so welcome. I don't want to frighten all of your viewers, but I was one that didn't wear a lot of makeup. So when I was interested in wanting to do a museum, it was all about based on wanting to give back to the community. And so from my past work that I had done, I was successful at a young age. And I thought, we should give back. And at one point in my life, I was a school teacher, and I think there's a joke there somewhere. My mom was a school teacher, my dad was a school teacher, and I was a school teacher. There's got to be something funny about that. But for me, it was all about getting my students interested in wanting to learn a subject that maybe they didn't find interesting or they didn't have any need for, and they may never take that class again, once they go on to college or go to work, And so what did I teach? I taught music appreciation when music appreciation was taught many years ago. And I taught it in French at the French Lycée, the Lycée Français de Los Angeles. And so, and it was a chance for me at that point to give back because I actually graduated from that school, from that high school. And so I was bilingual. Actually, I was trilingual at the time. And so I found it very interesting to want to recreate that wonderful opportunity to teach people something new. But what do you want to teach people if they're not in school? That was like the big question. If you're not in school, what do you want to learn? Well, I thought, well, let's find out what's the most popular thing that is associated with Los Angeles worldwide, like your audience. They're worldwide. And so we recognized that the most important thing was Hollywood. And I found that out years ago when I was in Malaysia on business and then in Singapore. And I was meeting with several of my clients and the wives and the children, and they all wanted to know where I was from. And I said, Los Angeles. And, oh, that's nice. Yes, yes, yes. Where in Los Angeles? And so I said, well, West LA. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. But then I realized they really didn't know what that meant.
Right.
And I probably should be more specific. So I thought I'm going to do a test because I had just bought the Max Factor building expressly for the Hollywood Museum. And so I said, in Hollywood, I'm from Hollywood. Oh my goodness. All of a sudden, there were so many questions to be asked. so many of the wives, I mean, it was just extraordinary. These women dressed in Chanel from head to toe. I know
Yeah.
a lot of you viewers can just imagine this.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden they lost their decorum. They lost their politeness and elegance, and immediately were screaming questions to me. And this was in the 90s.
Yeah.
One of them wanted to know if I knew Tom Cruise. And I mean, it just went on. Jack Nicholson, you know, Clint Eastwood. It just went on and on and on. And have you seen that newcomer, Jennifer Lopez? What is she like? And
Right.
I found that so interesting. And I thought, you know, we have hit on something, because it doesn't matter where you are from. You know the name Hollywood. You know that name. And so I felt we had done the right thing by purchasing the Max Faster building expressly to house the new Hollywood Museum.
Mm. And going back a little bit, I mentioned this illustrious background that you have and that you come from, and the legacy, the family legacy in Hollywood. Your godfather, MGM great composer, working with Judy Garland and Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra. Tell us about your godfather and some of that inspiration as well. That's extraordinary.
Well, you know, Jim, I have to tell you, the funny part for me really is that when I came to Hollywood, I thought I had nothing to do with Hollywood. I thought I had no ties to Hollywood. And my first friend in Hollywood was the honorary mayor, Johnny Grant. And Johnny Grant was the man who gave all the stars out on the Walk of Fame, all those ceremonies for decades until he passed away in the 2000s. And so, you know, we got started chit-chatting, and he was very concerned because, you know, in Hollywood, everyone talks. But the question is, can you really do? Can you really perform? You know, can you put your money where your mouth is? And can you actually make things happen? And so we got to know each other, and he realized, yes, this is really going to happen. And I am one determined, stubborn, tenacious individual. And I'm proud of that fact that people have called me tenacious. I think for me, that's a really good thing.
Absolutely.
And when we got started talking, I mentioned to him about my godfather, and I told him, I said, I don't think you know who he would be. You know, and I mentioned Jose Iturbi, and he looked at me, he says, are you kidding?
Yeah.
And so he said, you know, he was a great pianist. You know, he was the first classical musician that we have on our Walk of Fame. And it came at the beginning, you know, when the Walk of Fame was first opened up in the 60s, early 60s. And so I said, yes. And so he said, you know, he was the first classical musician to get his star. And I said, wow, I didn't know that. He said, yes. He says, do you know why? And I said, no, I don't. And he said, well, neither do I. You go look it up and check it out. So I asked my godmother, and she told me, oh, yes. She said he sold the first million copies of a record. And I thought, wow, it should have been Elvis Presley or the Beatles. Who knew it was my godfather playing classical music, Chopin's Military Polonaise.
Yeah.
And so, but he was a world famous concert artist. He performed and conducted orchestras at several of the major studios for the MGM films and for 20th Century Fox. He always performed in these films as himself. He always played himself, Jose Iturbi. He always had to be a pianist and a conductor, and he always had to be good. He could never be a bad man. He always had to have good morals and good ethics, and the film always had to be very clean. But you know, in the 40s, that wasn't so difficult. Of course, the films were always very clean. And my godfather was very much in demand at that time because the movie studios wanted to heighten the experience of moviegoers by adding live, well-recognized, important musicians and singers and artists and dancers to their very distinguished group of actors. And in fact, when we think about this for a while, I met many of these entertainers through my godfather when I was little, and I had no idea who I was meeting. I even met Frank Sinatra, I even met Judy Garland. I didn't know who they were, other than they were friends of my godfather. And what was very striking in those days was that all of these well-known entertainers and actors that people would rush to the box office to buy a ticket for to see their latest and greatest film. Not only could they act, and of course they were all made up and made to look gorgeous by Max Factor, but they were either a singer or a dancer or did both. So it was not only an actor that would be headlining these films, they also had another star quality to be able to sing, to be able to dance. That was part of it. Today, not so much.
Right. Yes, exactly. It's how has it changed from your perspective and seeing, just the different ways that we do things now? Is the glamour, you think, still there as it was and yesterday?
Well, that's a really great question. That really is. My godmother reminds me that even for my godfather, Jose, he did not go out unless he was completely dressed in a suit and a tie. And he had to have nice cufflinks and he had to be groomed to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And so did my godmother. Of course, my godfather loved to drive Harley Davidson motorcycles. And so he didn't necessarily like to get dressed up all the time. And he tried to keep that quiet. But whenever they went out to dinner or they were going to a show or they were visiting friends, they were always dressed up. And I have to say today, I have a lot of celebrities who are friends of mine, actually since childhood, when we're all in school together. And later on, it's changed so much because of social media and the paparazzi and the ability to report that now younger celebrities, they pull themselves together in some way, shape, or form, but they're not done to the nth degree. They're not all dressed up. They're not beautifully coiffed, They're more relaxed and more natural looking. And I kind of think that that's fun for young people today to see more of a realistic version of the stars that they idolize. Whereas with our parents, they enjoyed seeing the stars done up beautifully, glamorously dressed, beautifully made up, had fantastic jewelry on, beautiful accessories, and they always hoped that one day that they too could have that. But it's different now. Today, it's much more natural. And when we do our events at the museum, we always have so many celebrities that come that are celebrities from today, a few from yesteryear, and a few that just still love to get dressed up, and some that are more relaxed. And it is what it is. That's all there is to it. And it's fabulous to have them one way or the other. I think the most important thing I could tell you, Jim, and to your audience is today, celebrities are comfortable with themselves when they go out. They're not done up for anyone else but for themselves.
Which is wonderful. And why is it for you personally, Donelle, this mission? It's in your DNA. It's not that you just want to do it, but you have to, I know. Continue to celebrate Hollywood, celebrate the movies, the television shows that we love and are beloved. What is it for you personally that drives you to do this and to do it in such a very special, very classy, tasteful, respectful, passionate, and very exciting way for everybody that comes through and really falls in love when they come in? We had Ruth and Anita Pointer on, the Pointer Sisters, and they've had their exhibit. And when we were chatting, we were having so much fun. They're hilarious. But they were talking about the museum as well and their exhibit and how they love it and seeing people and seeing fans and celebrating the music. And they love the fact that there's such a place as the Hollywood Museum in which to not only celebrate their background, but also to connect new generations to all that they have and continue to bring to the table. For you, what is it inside that inspires you to want to do this in such a glorious way as you have?
Well, you're so kind to say it like that. Anita and Bonnie, and sadly Bonnie passed last year, but yeah. Anita is a personal friend of mine. So for me, it's always about doing the right thing. We did an exhibit on Johnny Grant, who was my mentor here in Hollywood. Oh, this is Anita's exhibit. This is the Pointer Sisters exhibit. And her sister Ruth, the only living Pointer sister, actually last summer, both Ruth and Anita and Bonnie all performed together. The first time they've performed together in 20 years, they performed together at the museum to open this exhibit up.
Yeah.
So, but it's so colorful, as you can see. And I think what's kind of fun about this exhibit is it chronicles 50 years of their performances, whether it was on live on stage across the nation and around the world, whether it was television shows, and in those days there were variety shows, whether the Carol Burnett show, Flip Wilson show, The Laugh-In, or films, Car Wash. They performed in several different films. And of course, their platinum records and their gold records are also on exhibit, as well as artwork. Some of the artwork fans had done for them, and they had saved it, plus very formal portraits of each of the sisters.
That is incredible. That really is. I mean, some of the exhibits really are something. I mean, it must be an arduous task to find and a real score, like high five moments when you come across some really vintage items that you get a chance to display at the museum. That's going to be quite a process. Like, do you find that people are very excited and they're willing to share and even offer up some of their own vintage items so it can be a part of the museum, like a Smithsonian type of situation?
Well, museums are interesting to everyone as long as there is something of interest in that museum. Everyone can find something there, I do believe. And also, I think to myself that a great museum has very interesting and diverse exhibits, but equally important is the text panels, the information that goes along with each of these exhibits to be able to explain to our visitors, what this exhibit is about. Why is there significance? What's the importance? When was it done? Was it used only in television? Was it used in 2 TV shows? Was it used in 1 film? Was it used in 2 films? Was it used in the sequels of the same film franchise? Did completely different actors wear these costumes, but only did them up a little bit differently? Was a frill taken away? Was a neckline raised or lowered? Exactly how does this work? And so I think that that's the fun part, is to learn about that, not only with what you see, but the story behind the scenes. Maybe that's the school teacher in me coming out.
Yes. Yeah, here's some more of the exhibits, just giving people an idea. And several people are commenting live and saying things like, Alessandra watching in North Carolina, USA says, I could spend all day in that museum. Kathleen in New York City says, the museum looks awesome. Love museums. Juanita in South Africa asks, do you have a favorite exhibit and or item in the museum for you personally?
So, Jim, Juanita, I would love to tell you that response, and I'd love to give you a response, but as president of the museum, I'm not allowed to have favorites. It's like if you have 2 or 3 children, you can't have a favorite child. You just can't pick. So, but I will tell you, for me, half the fun is how did we come across these artifacts? As well as the importance of who the artifact belonged to, or who wore it, or in what film did this prop appear in. The museum has the largest collection of Marilyn Monroe memorabilia on display at any time. And we are proud of that. In fact, our honorary mayor, Johnny Grant, who knew Marilyn personally, he found that very amusing that I wanted to do that. And I thought, well, I've done my studies. One of the most popular female entertainers of all time was Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
And so it turned out that he knew Marilyn. He knew her husband, the baseball player Joe DiMaggio. In fact, Johnny Grant and Joe DiMaggio used to play cards every Tuesday night, and they would alternate at the different card players' apartments or condos or homes. Every week would be at a different person's home. And when it was Joe DiMaggio's time, at that time he was married to Marilyn, and they were on Oakhurst Drive in Beverly Hills, and Marilyn was in the kitchen, which was not a place where she would
Normally
make herself eat, but you know, she wanted to please her new husband, a good Italian who loved to eat well, and his sister taught Marilyn many dishes. And so at these card parties, the men, they would always have beer, soft drinks, whatever, and then there'd always be sandwiches and potato chips and dessert and cookies and things like this. Very American, you know, very American in the 60s food. And so all of a sudden, here comes Marilyn out of the kitchen carrying a tray, wearing an apron, and she had mules with marabou feathers on it, and she had a very tight dress on underneath the apron, and she put the tray down, and the guys they didn't know whether to be aghast or shocked or what. And I said to Johnny, I said, oh, it must be because there was Marilyn Monroe in front of them. And he said, well, yeah, you could say that. That you could say. But we couldn't believe we came here and all we got was bologna and American cheese sandwiches on white bread with a big bag of potato chips opened up. And I thought, oh my gosh. And so he says, and Oreo cookies. And I said, oh, well, you know, that's what you eat anyway. And he says, yes. But when Joe's sister or his mother would prepare food, it was very different. It was a full Italian meal. So everyone showed up for cards that night whenever it was at Joe's. But I believe that everyone still would show up at Joe's house now that Marilyn was cooking, because it was Marilyn.
That is fantastic. And that story, there's no baloney, folks.
Good for you. Good for you.
That is the real deal. Some of the memorabilia, the artifacts are extraordinary, as you say. And thanks for sharing that story about Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio. The Godfather, I mean, this is quite amazing. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, this is a very interesting exhibit. It's from behind the scenes. It talks about the characters, the stars, who appeared when, the different dates, the different times, what scene, their clothing, all the behind the scenes information. And so you're going to say, oh my gosh, Janelle, how did you get that? What would you believe? When I was in college, when I was in UCLA as a music undergrad, one of my good friends turned out to be a very involved individual with Francis Ford Coppola. And she managed his archives and managed all of his personal artifacts, such as this notebook and costumes from the films. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So you never know when things are going to come. You know, you never know. I mean, I have to tell you, when I was, after I finished teaching school, I then got in the real estate game and sold real estate here in Beverly Hills and in Hollywood and in Brentwood and in Santa Monica and Bel Air and Westwood. And I've ended up working with so many different entertainers through their business managers and their attorneys. And if I had only known at that time I was planning to open a museum, I would have asked each and every one of them for a souvenir, an artifact from their professional career or their personal lives. But I had no idea, so I lost those opportunities. But when I see them afterward, they all laugh, because they all say, you know, we thought you were crazy to get out of the real estate game. And we thought no one's ever been able to open a museum. And, you know, here you are trying to do this. You don't really know anybody. You had the real estate experience of how to pick a good building. And that's another story, because the X Factor building was never for sale. I had to talk Procter & Gamble, who owned the X Factor Cosmetics Company, into selling this building to me. And it took more than 2.5 years in escrow, and about 2 years before we got into escrow, to be able to close this escrow deal and be able to say that I landed up owning the Max Factor building.
Wow. So that was tenacious. That took patience and resilience for sure, to be able to to acquire it. And again, the history goes back. It's again another Americana, piece of Americana. Speaking of that, tell us about this.
Oh, wow. This is Max Factor's personal makeup case that he used until he passed away in the 30s. And if you look real closely, there's kind of an deep burnt orange red, two pieces that are put together. That's literally a fake mustache made out of mohair. Now, remember that, in the teens, 20s, and early 30s, the quality of film and the quality of the equipment is so different than it is today. So you didn't have to be so spectacular in trying to cover up real from fake.
Yeah.
As far as hair pieces are concerned. And so it was black and white, for a very long time. Only in the mid 30s did we have the invention of 3-strip Technicolor film. But this was Max Factor's case. And if you look carefully, most of the makeup, when you see it, it sort of resembles more like a grease paint, whether it's in these tins or in the tubes. They look like oil paint.
Yes.
So grease paint, heavy duty grease paint. There was no difference from live theatrical shows and vaudeville makeup as to what was used in front of the cameras. But it was Max Factor who changed all of that because of the invention of 3-strip Technicolor. He really equipped it all of a sudden where everything looked very realistic. It wasn't sort of kind of and approximations in between because of black and white film. Now it had to be realistic, and he created that look. And he did that using his world famous makeup rooms in the Max Factor building where the museum is now. And in fact, Jim, we were kind of chit-chatting about those makeup rooms. We have preserved them. In fact, we have returned them back to their original look in the 1930s. I was able to get a hold of an original set of plans. And that in itself is a fun story. And if you have a moment, I'll tell you about it.
Absolutely. We have plenty of time. Absolutely.
So I was at a dinner party for clients of mine who had recently purchased a mid-century modern home. And they were going to restore it. So it became a mid-century modern home. And they had a dinner party to share it with their friends. And I was one of the 16 or 18 guests. And they all, said, oh, we want to thank Donelle for all that she's done. She found this home for us. She told us, don't worry. This is the right home for you. You can always fix what's on the property, but you can never change that view that you're looking out on. And it's a spectacular view. One saw Beverly Hills, Century City, Santa Monica, even Los Angeles Airport with airplanes landing, and then, of course, the Pacific coastline and the Pacific Ocean. And the sunsets were just magnificent. So they were all clapping and saying, oh, thank you, thank you. This is so beautiful with all these walls and panes of glass, bringing the outdoors inside. It's really quite something. And then the husband, who at that time was the head of the new network, CW network.
Oh, yeah.
He said, but, we love her. And she's very brilliant, She really knew how to negotiate this deal. But there's something a little bit weird about her. There's something a little bit crazy. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, what is it? What did I do? What could it be? And they said, she bought this Max Factor building in Hollywood, and she thinks she's going to open a museum. She's whatever makes her think that, that's an impossibility. I mean, in those days, there was metro rail tunneling, thinking about. There had been shootings at the intersection, homeless people. There was sadly runaways, drug addiction, prostitution. Sadly, our culture doesn't rush in to save different organizations, activities, groups of people, locations until we're just about ready to lose them. And I think that's because our country isn't very, very old in relationship to England or France or China, or Russia, all these countries. And so we don't recognize the importance of once upon a time and trying to preserve that once upon a time. And so for me, I thought the Max Factor building was the most fantastic location to tell the story of the motion picture industry starting at once upon a time about 100 years ago. And so, because, in those days, you didn't snap your fingers, and all of a sudden you got liposuction and, and plastic surgery. In those days, it was all about Max Factor and his makeup magic and lighting and shading.
Right.
So they relied on Max Factor. And so this building, if these walls could talk, so now I thought this is the perfect location. The difficulty was this building was not for sale. And Procter & Gamble, who owned Max Factor Cosmetics Company, had no interest in selling it. But, that word tenacious comes back. I couldn't help myself. I just had to talk them into this. And I'm thrilled to say, maybe 15 years later, when we finish the restoration, we won a State of California Preservation Award for the best Art Deco example for that year of being restored. And I'm just thrilled because these world famous makeup rooms inside the Blondes Only room, where Marilyn Monroe became a blonde, Lucille Ball got her signature red hair there. There's a brunettes and a brownettes only room. This was all developed based on the fabulous 3-strip Technicolor concept. And I know many of your viewers and listeners are going to say, and probably they're typing it in right now, telling you that Marilyn Monroe was born a blonde. Well, yes, she was. But like most natural blondes, by the time she became a teenager, her hair had started to turn dark. And so we even have evidence of that with her first wedding pictures from her first marriage. When she was a teenager, she was 16 years old, if you can imagine, and she married the boy next door, Jim Doherty. Well, actually, he lived a couple doors down, Jim Doherty. And so we knew that her hair color had darkened, but when she decided that she wanted to get into this motion picture industry and the entertainment industry, all of the people that were looking at her said, tell us about you. What did you look like when you were younger? She said, well, I was a blonde. And so they said, well, tell us, who was your favorite actress? Well, I really didn't have it, but my aunt would take me one weekend a month. We would go to see a movie, a matinee on Saturday or Sunday. And it was always Jean Harlow. She loved Jean Harlow. And so they asked her, what do you think about Jean Harlow? And she said, well, she was very beautiful. And they asked, well, a little bit more. And she said, well, she had this way where all the men loved her and all the women loved her too. She had a way for standing up and sticking to her guns, and she never gave in, and she had always a good last remark, and men loved her. And, the women always wanted to come to her rescue, and so did the men. And so, I'm listening to the story. This was told to me from Max Factor Cosmetics, a senior VP. And of course, I had to do my homework on it afterward to make sure that it was really true. And he said, when she was signed for 20th Century Fox as a player, a weekly paycheck, salaried player, they changed her hair color. And they recognized when they brought her to Max Factor, looking at her skin tone and looking, deep into her roots and everything, and her eyes, they decided that, it's true. She was a blonde. And of course, they showed photographs of her as a child. And so Max Factor himself said to her, Max Factor Jr., who was running the show at that time, he said to her, so tell me, what's your favorite hair color? And she said, well, I love Jean Harlow's hair color. That's that new hair color, platinum blonde. And Max Factor Jr. said, we created that hair color. She was the first star to wear that hair color. But you do know that Jean Harlow's hair was blonde and she remained a blonde, but just not that heightened blonde that we know her as, or as platinum blonde. And so that's how Marilyn Monroe got an updated version of platinum blonde. It's kind of fun. And the other story that's always fun to share with everyone is Lucille Ball, America's favorite comedian. I had a wonderful opportunity. We were celebrating the 100th anniversary of Lucille Ball. And Lucille Ball's daughter, Lucy Arnaz, came out with her husband and her son and several family friends. And she sat in the Redheads Only room and she asked to sit there. And I said, oh, that's so nice of you to know this. And so I said, you probably heard all about this. And she said, oh, more than heard. She said, my brother and I, when we were little, we wanted to be in here with Mom. I said, well, why? And it was like this two-tone green color room. And I should back up and say the Blondes Only room was two-tone or blue tone room. And each of the different hair colors had different pastel colors to heighten those colors. And so I said, how come? There's very little room in this room for you to run around or do things. She says, oh, no, it didn't matter. She said, we sat quietly in the corner, and she pointed to the corner. And she said, we got to play without Mom correcting us. I guess the mother was a very much so a taskmaster. And she said, because Mom could not correct us because she could not talk while we were playing. And I thought that is so funny. And so years later, the U.S. Postal Service, when they unveiled the commemorative stamp to Lucille Ball, they unveiled it here at the Max Factor building in the Redheads Only room as a result, because that's what the kids wanted.
Oh, boy, what a great story. That's amazing. And in salute to that story, we have the I Love Lucy mug. Perfect, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With some coffee. Actually, we do have some friends here. Gilligan is with us. This came by way of Dream of Denver, who's a dear friend. She was a guest on the show, and she sent along, and aloha, Jim, Dream of Denver. And I know you've done some wonderful things with that series, Gilligan's Island.
Absolutely. I hope Dreama is watching. Dreama, hello.
Yeah,
I can hardly wait to see you. COVID has stopped everything.
Yes.
But I look forward to seeing you very soon.
Fabulous person, isn't she? A real sweetheart of a person. And I know you've worked with somebody that I would love to have an opportunity to chat with on this show. But we have her in spirit, Jeannie.
And
the Jeannie bottle.
Yes, yes, yes.
You've done great things, I know, with Barbara and with the series and so much more. And somebody else who's usually here with me all the time, sort of my Ed McMahon, my sidekick. And everybody perks up when they see this. He's also sending his love. George Burns is with us.
Hey, he is great. I remember he and his wife, my parents, time would stand still when they would be on TV. I didn't understand that George Burns could be married to Gracie Allen because they had two different last names. But that's the naivete, of a child. But in our home, time stopped when that show came on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And now you see it in reruns, and there's a whole new generation that is being introduced to it. And that's great. And that's what you're doing too through the museum. Those who remember are coming through, those who've heard bits and pieces coming through, and those who are learning for the very first time are coming through this extraordinary museum. There might even be people watching right now, I don't doubt, whether they're in the United States, Canada, or around the world, who are watching this live, or they'll watch this on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and binge watch later, who might not have even been aware that the Hollywood Museum exists. This may be brand new to them, and they're very excited about it. They know of the Museum of Broadcasting, or now called the Paley Center. They know, of course, Smithsonian and all these other places they can go, but there is a dedicated place that's in the actual location of Hollywood, California, USA, dedicated to all of this. Is extraordinary, huh? A lot of people probably learning about it for the first time, watching us right now.
This always happens, Jim. And it's because we are a nonprofit and we have yet to go out and fundraise, although we do rely on so many of our visitors, maybe to make a donation. And so we're very careful with the way that we spend our funds. We don't have tremendous funds for publicity and PR, as many of these other locations do have. And so I thank you so much for taking the time today and chatting about the Hollywood Museum, because this is how we get our story out. And, I know that we were going to talk about some of the new exhibits and some of the exhibits that are going to be there when we reopen on August 4th. And I'm thrilled to say we have our Back to the Future trilogy. It's the exhibit that shows off all three films. It's the only one that's ever been done. And I have it on good fact because the co-creator, Bob Gale, who was implicit in helping and telling me where to go, who to talk to, making introductions, he himself told me, this will be a first. Donelle, are you up for it? And I said, yes. Well, actually, everyone calls me by my initials, my nickname, Dee Dee. Dee Dee, are you up for it? And I said, I am, but I said, I'm going to need your help. He said, I'm here for you. As were many of the celebrities, many of the stars that showed up for the opening night, and that appeared in the film. And in fact, I mean, I'm thrilled to say that we have several of the DeLorean time machines, the hero car from Back to the Future 3, the Western car. We have the DeLorean that was from part 1 and appeared again in part 2. And as costumes and all sorts of props. And interestingly enough, it's the merchandising too that many people are interested in because it takes them back to their childhoods. When it was they wanted, I needed to have that lunchbox. Right. I needed to have that thermos. I need that car. I need this pen. I need this pencil with the eraser that's shaped like such and such.
Right.
I want a pair of those shoes. I need to have a hoverboard. That was really a skateboard, but you just didn't think about it when it was.
I had the Lost in Space robot.
Oh, there you go. You understand completely what I'm saying. So that is going to be our big exhibit. That is when we reopen in August. There'll be many other exhibits. We have more than 10,000 exhibits at any time on display that showcase about 100 years of Hollywood history from its humble beginnings until today. But additionally, I'm thrilled to announce that come just around Halloween time, we're going to be having our next big blockbuster exhibit, and that is Ghostbusters. Oh, Ghostbusters 1 and 2. We've even secured the Ectomobile. So that will be at the museum, and we're looking forward to it. But it's definitely hard work, but it's all fun and games, and we just love it. And our team, every one of our team at some point in time has either worked for a celebrity, has been in films or television themselves. And I think that's what makes the difference with how we present everything. And when you come to the museum, the experience that you get when you first arrive.
It's top notch. Absolutely. I want to just show you, show the audience some of the amazing people that you've had an opportunity to collaborate with who have come through the Hollywood Museum. Wonderful array of television talent there, huh?
Oh, from Knots Landing. Oh my gosh. Joan Van Ark, Michelle Lee. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it.
Donna Mills.
And Donna Mills. Oh my goodness. We're actually at the Hollywood Bowl, and my godfather, Hosea Turby, you see his name in the background. It is, we are celebrating his legacy because we have a music foundation supporting classical music. And so that is at the Hollywood Bowl at one night, special events there, sponsored by the Hosea Turby Foundation. But these ladies are lovely and fantastic, and they have embraced the museum. They even have their costumes, if you can believe it, from Knots Landing on display.
That is incredible. Here's another great one.
I feel very honored with this, very honored. This is at one of our Academy Award viewing parties. And of course, it's Mom Tippi Hedren and daughter. Can you guess?
Oh, boy. Yes, I can see. Let me look close. Tell us.
Oh, no, you have to guess. You know her very well. She's a wonderful lady. She's very popular. And, I'll be honest, I think I'm having a senior moment right here. But
this is Tippi's daughter?
Yes.
Oh, boy, no. It is, let me think. Melanie Griffith.
Yes, it is.
Melanie Griffith, yes. Yes, that's a great shot of the three of you.
Yes. And in the back is actually a photograph. It's a portrait, George Hurrell portrait of Clara Bow.
Oh, my God.
From the 20s.
Wow. Yeah. Look at this shot. Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tomlin.
Exhibit, huh?
My good friend Lily Tomlin is from our LGBTQ exhibit. And I think this was in 2019. Yes, because 2020 we couldn't have one. So this is 2019. And there's Lily's costume.
Oh, yes, that's right.
From Grace and Frankie.
The stars must really love this. They must get a kick out of all of this as well. Here's another great shot.
Oh, this is fabulous. So we have to look really good. So, I need to tell you, from the back row, there's your buddy, George Shakiris.
Yes.
Carolyn Hennessy, Ellison Arngrim.
Yep.
Lee Purcell.
Yeah.
Marion Ross.
They were all on the
And
show. Yeah, they're
oh my
wonderful.
gosh, every one of them. I mean, it's just like so interesting. And in the front, um, tell me if you know either one of these folk. Julie
So,
Newmar is in
oh,
the
Julie
front
Newmar.
left.
Yes, yes. And
Oh,
Servino.
yes. And his wife
Yes.
is wearing the black mini dress with the yellow lemons in the background.
And Michael Leonard from the Waltons is back there as well.
Yes, yes,
Ah, what a great shot. That's a great one. So
yes.
so is this one. Ah, there you talked
Oh
about
my goodness.
Lucy
Oh my
Arnaz
goodness.
and
Yes, yes. Valerie
Valerie
Harper. Oh yes, yes. And Carol Cook. Carol Cook, we know her.
Yeah,
Many people don't necessarily recognize her per se, but she was the protege of Lucille Ball.
that's right. I forgot about that. That is right. There's another great one there. We talked about Barbara Eden. There's also Rita Moreno.
And her daughter, yes.
Wow. That's right. Yes, absolutely. And a friend of mine hosts Celebrity Page, Small World. There's a great shot. Tell us about
Oh,
this
yes,
one.
this is Carolyn Hennessy. Yes, she's very famous, a very well-known soap star, as well as in many films.
There's a very special moment for you here, huh?
Yes, yes, yes. So this was at the Academy Awards viewing party, and the Hollywood Museum received a wonderful philanthropy award recognizing all that we do for the community, not only in the museum and keeping people's legacies alive and giving them wonderful opportunities to once again reconnect with their fans and other celebrities, but also the work that the museum does for the Hollywood community, especially during difficult times.
Beautiful. Ellen.
Yes, Ellen DeGeneres. This was at a Walk of Fame ceremony.
That is wonderful. Here's another cool shot.
Oh, yes.
Is that
Yes.
Donna Pascal?
Yes, Donna.
Yes.
Yes, Donna Pascal. Yes.
Angie. And of
Yes.
course, Saturday Night Fever and so much more. I just wanted to show folks too, a couple more wonderful ones we have here. Dee Wallace, who was on the show, and of course, Dawn Wells, who we lost,
Yes.
of course.
Sadly.
Yeah. And
there's Darby Hinton. Darby and I were friends when we were children, believe it or not.
Oh,
When he
wow.
played Isaac on Daniel Boone. And to next to me, the beautiful woman with the blonde hair, that is Erin Murphy, the original Tabitha from Bewitched.
Tabitha, and we're hoping because I know she has kids that she's been watching over, and I think homeschooling and all, and we're hoping that she'll be coming on soon. It'll be a joy to have her on the show. Great photos. Here's another
Lindsay
great one.
Wagner.
Yeah, Bionic Woman right there for you folks.
Yes.
These
And
exhibits
that's
are so
Lindsay's
fantastic.
Emmy.
That's the Emmy. You're getting a good, just a small sampling, folks, of some of the exhibits and just the way they're beautifully laid out. Here's another, and then you mentioned, of course.
Oh, this is Erin Murphy, and it was our day to shine because we had done a wonderful exhibit with Annette Funicello and her heirs, and it was so much fun for us. We had several of the original cast members from the Mickey Mouse Club that came.
Ah, that's fantastic. Great shot there too. And I wanted to show the lobby. I know a lot of people talk about that. Tell us about this and all the care that went into this.
Well, Jim, I can't thank you enough to
My
show this. I
pleasure.
mean, this is so exciting. This whole activity with the exhibits and with the events, as well as the restoration of the building. It's been a labor of love. So, Mr. Lovety, we love this lobby. And I was able to get an original set of plans when I was chatting about earlier before, when I was at this dinner party. Everyone was laughing about what I had done by purchasing the Max Factor building. But there was a lady sitting across from me and down one, and she seemed to be very interested in. She said to me, do you know my great uncle is S. Charles Lee? Do you know who he is? And I good thing that there were arms on the chair because I would have fallen out of it. He was a great architect and designer
Yes.
in Hollywood and actually across the United States and in Europe. And he drew and designed the most interesting architectural features. And so he was well known for his Art Deco creations, whether they were theaters in New York or Denver or Miami or London. And he also did the Max Factor building. And so I said, oh my gosh, are you telling me the truth? Oh my goodness, you're related to S. Charles Lee?
Yeah.
And she said, yes. And so I said, oh my goodness. And so she said, I cannot believe that you're the person who bought the Max Factor building.
Yeah.
And so she says, it's in terrible condition. And I said, yes, I know. And I had my head down when I was saying, yes, I know. And so she said, I may have an original set of plans. We're going through everything now because we're going to make a big donation to UCLA. But there are some duplicates. So let me see. And she said, when you look out over the end of this property, and she says, instead of looking out to see the ocean, just look straight down and on the street below. That's my house with the garage that's right at the street. And so he said, come on over. And so we made a date. And in a couple of days, I went over and she had the original set of plans. And as a result, that photo that you showed of the lobby, that's exactly the way it looked in 1935 when Max Factor originally opened the building with this design.
Wow.
And it was thanks to those original set plans, all the colors were called out, the marble floor, everything, the gold leafing, the trompe-l'oeil work, everything was recreated just the way that it was on those plans.
That is incredible. Right to a T. Beautifully done. Beautiful work. I know it's a showstopper when people come in because some of the guests we've had on, some of who we've seen in these photos this afternoon have talked about that. And again, it's quite an experience, everybody has been saying when they come, not just the exhibits, but just the feeling, the vibe throughout the building. You've been able to capture, and that's not always easy to capture the moments and the memories, but also a certain feeling. I mean, the blood pressure is lowered and people just feel good and they feel happy and they feel connected. And that's a beautiful thing. What you're doing goes so far beyond just the tangibles, the tactile products and items and memorabilia. There's feelings and memories and new memories created through what you're doing, which is a beautiful thing that is impactful and it's legacy building for sure.
Yes, I thank you so much. Thank you for saying all of that. It's wonderful. It warms my heart to know that other people recognize this. We've been through quite extraordinary times, and we can hardly wait for the Hollywood Museum and the historic Max Factor building to reopen, and we will be doing so very soon.
You did something that's still going on again at the time of this show. So again, if somebody's watching this 6 months from now, these dates that we're talking about will have already been passed. So just enjoy our episode. But this very, very special. Several of these folks have been guests on our series here. The Hollywood Museum Squares.
Yes.
Tell us about this. Something really cool and special.
Well, it's quite extraordinary, from the original producers, directors, writers, even, the folks that do the introduction and those that played in Squares originally, plus new friends of the museum who are celebrities who love the game and watched it religiously when it was on. They all got together and as fundraisers for the museum created 5 different shows with 5 different cast in each square. And so exciting. I can't tell you. I thank them so much. And they did it during COVID. So I don't say that I understand the technology, but somehow they all got together on the same screen, even though they were not.
Alison Arngrim, of course, from Little House on the Prairie, Bruce Valanche, the amazing comedian and writer, so many of them, Loretta Swit from MASH, they're famous, impressionist Rich Little. You see in the square on the right, the smiling Joyce Bulifant. Joyce will actually be with us here on the show live on Wednesday of this week. We look forward to that. And so many others a part of that.
Oh, and I have to tell you, we're looking at it,
Yeah.
I mean, Lonnie Anderson,
Yes.
good friend Jeremy Miller, Aaron Murphy, Rico Anderson. I mean, I'm looking at them all. Jerry Mathers from Leave It to Beaver.
Yes.
I mean, it's for me. I'm so humbled,
Yeah.
and it is so heartwarming to think that all of these celebrities would take the time not only to do a show or agree to do it, but all the rehearsal time that went into it and all the preparation. It's really extraordinary. If your viewers have time, they should check it out.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We're talking about the Hollywood Museum and the historic Max Factor building. And in addition, just for knowledge building of our audience, you have your hands full. You don't just do this, and you weren't just an extraordinary educator and teacher through the years. In addition, folks, look at that font. President and founder of the Hollywood Museum, also chair of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce and chair of the Hollywood Historic Trust. You're also involved with the California Film Commission. Tell us about being involved with the Chamber of Commerce. Of course, the museum is a wonderful thing to come and visit when visiting Hollywood. But that's quite a busy role, and some of these other things that you're involved in as well. You have a day filled and a plate filled, don't you?
I sort of do, and I am so thankful that I'm able to do that. I was raised in my childhood years by my parents, always about service, always giving service, giving back, and always doing what is right from your heart. And so it's my honor, and I'm so thankful that Hollywood's Mayor Johnny Grant tapped me to follow in his footsteps in the Hollywood Historic Trust, which is the organization that controls the sidewalks for the Walk of Fame. And we continue ongoing. It's been going since, I think the Historic Trust started in the 80s, maybe or so, to be able to help preserve it and keep it going. And I'm thrilled. I have been the chair of that organization since Johnny Grant's passing. So it means a lot to me. And additionally, I am now a national board member of the Smithsonian.
Congratulations.
A great honor.
What an honor,
to be associated with all of these important folks. And the Smithsonian has 19 museums.
Yes, they do.
On their campus.
Yeah. So when you go, get ready to plan some time because it's extraordinary, right?
Yes. And, talking about the planning of time and activities, when the folks come to the Hollywood Museum, plan to spend a little bit time. It can be an in and out group. It can be an in and out group activity. But frankly, everybody enjoys taking their time. And, I have to say that we have Mel's Drive-In next door. So you can go next door and have a great American hamburger and French fries and milkshake. And Mel's Drive-In is famous from the movie American Graffiti. So we all work hand in hand together, and it's a lot of fun.
I just want to show you some of the great comments coming in here, my new friend. Such a pleasure to see these pictures from Jen Barry in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Kathleen in New York City. Fun show. Thanks for sharing all of this with us. And Christine Clifton in North Carolina, USA. Donelle, thanks for sharing so many great stories and all the backstories as well. Nice learning more about the museum. Fascinating conversation. Alessandra, I am loving all of these wonderful stories. Jane, who's watching in Sweden, says this is very interesting to hear about. Thank you for sharing all the stories about the museum and more. Again, the website there, folks. Again, we're talking about the Hollywood Museum and the historic Max Factor building, Hollywood, California, USA. You can go to the website, learn more. For those of you who are watching live, it's going to be reopening. The date you said was August 4th?
Yes, Wednesday, August 4th.
Fantastic. The HollywoodMuseum.com. Why do you love this work that you're doing, Donelle? And what are some of those blessings and joys in your life that continue to propel you forward to educate, inform, inspire, and at the same time preserve legacy and history in the way that you do so beautifully?
Well, I have to tell you, for me, there's nothing more exciting than seeing 2 and 3 generations of a family come in. It happened with our Batman exhibit. It's happening before and will happen again with our Back to the Future. And I know with Ghostbusters, is for generations to come in, and it could be a grandfather with his son who's now father to a youngster who sometimes is sitting on his shoulder, dressed with the Batman cape, or is wearing a Robin t-shirt. And I should say that Burt Ward is a very good friend of the museum, and he comes quite often.
He was on the show.
His wife, Tracy.
Amazing.
Yes.
He's amazing.
And I just have to say, for us, it's fun in being able to have this knowledge available for 1, 2, and 3 generations of a family. And some of these TV shows and some of these films have been popular for so long, or have had sequels that they have endured through the different generations. And these generations can share that with each other, and they relive those special moments together when they come to our museum.
So beautiful. Merlin, who's in Ontario, Canada, wanted to know, are there bus tours that take you to the museum? Any sort of groups, packages, tour groups, anybody where they have it structured where one of the things that you get to see is the Hollywood Museum? She's in Ontario, Canada.
Yes, there once was, but I'm not sure now post-COVID. I'm not sure. And I guess we're really not post-COVID, but now I'm not sure what's happening.
Yeah. Are there any virtual tours of the museum?
No, we do not have virtual tours because it's just not the same.
Yeah, you gotta come. Absolutely. You gotta come, and you gotta really spend time and just savor it and soak it all in. Alessandra says, thank you so very much, Donelle, for restoring the building and making it a museum. Bravo and great job. And Juanita is in South Africa. She's, I'm sure, going to make a trip as well. This was most interesting. Thank you, Donelle, for sharing all the great stories with us as well. I hope our show, the Jim Master Show Live, met whatever expectations you had, Donelle, and you certainly enjoyed the time with me, as I certainly have with you. This was wonderful sharing this time with you today.
Well, ditto, and ditto. I enjoyed it tremendously, and I look forward to being asked again, because you know I'm going to say yes.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you're a lovety now, so there's no turning back. As I say to all the guests, there's Oscars and Peabodys, Emmys, Grammys, Tonys, Tellys. But when you get a lovety on the Jim Master Show Live, it's something pretty special. Are your feet tingling about now?
Oh, yes.
Then I have done my job. You're amazing, Dee Dee, and it's a pleasure. And thanks so much for spending all this time with us. Continued success with everything you're doing at the museum. Best of luck. We encourage folks, if folks are watching who would like to support the museum, when going to the website, is there an area they can go to learn more about supporting the work?
Yes, there is. I thank you so much for mentioning that.
Oh, my pleasure. You take care. You be well. We will have you back. We will keep the porch light on for you. And again, it was a true pleasure. Thanks for spending the time with us on the show. We loved it.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye. Now, as I say to all the guests, go stretch those legs. Take care, Dee Dee. Bye-bye now. Isn't she amazing? Isn't the museum amazing? Now, for many of you, this might be the first time you've ever heard or even knew about the existence of the Hollywood Museum. I've known about it, and it really is an amazing place. There's the website to learn more. If you would like to have an opportunity, from August 4th on, they are reopening after COVID. Of course, protocols, all the different things. And it's going to be amazing. And some of those exhibits, I know you guys were very excited about, the ones that she was talking about that have been passing through, but also some of the new ones that are coming up. If you want to keep abreast of it all, if you want to learn more, thehollywoodmuseum.com. If you would like to support the museum, I am a big believer in doing things like that. You know me, I MC a lot of charity events all over, and I've done a lot of work like that. And, when you believe in things that make a positive impact in life, to support them is crucial, and especially the arts and entertainment. It's helped get many people through what we've experienced the last 14 months or so, hasn't it? People have been turning to nostalgic television shows and movies and bringing out the good music and things of that nature. They've been getting out in the soil and nature and gardening and doing all the things to reconnect with life and with one another. And the kinds of material that you find at the Hollywood Museum certainly does do that. You reconnect with so many feelings and so many vibes and moments that maybe have slipped by. And for those of you from all kinds of different generations, you'll find something extra special there as well, and learn about some of the history. And Jen says, Donelle, come on back. Yes, we will have her back. Alessandra had said, welcome to the Loverty family. And Alessandra also says, it's all amazing. It's the first time hearing about it. Oh my God, I want to go now. Perfect. Just get on a plane from North Carolina, go west, like the covered wagons did, but you can go by a plane or train and enjoy yourself. This is a good idea. Maybe we should do that. A Loverty field trip to the museum. Get the Loverties together. I know we're talking about doing a Loverty cruise. You guys want to do that? Maybe going to the museum too. That would be cool. Heard about the museum on your previous shows. That's right. Marion Ross and Anson Williams, Burt Ward, Alison Arngrim. So many have been on the show. Love it, Juanita. And it would be amazing to see. Thank you for giving us a glimpse. My pleasure. And good stuff. We love this. And more comments coming in here. And Alessandra says, as a theater major, I'm so happy there's a museum like this. Thanks. Absolutely. Go check it out when you can. It's going to be a wonderful trip for you. Merlin in Canada says to Donelle, enjoy the rest of your day. She's got a busy day. She's got a lot on her plate. And it's a little earlier there. It's about 5:18 where we are here on the East Coast. Alessandra says a Loverty gathering field trip would be good. I love that. Want to let you know we will be back coming up tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Special guest Maria Corban is going to be with us live. She is Fox Los Angeles, which is KTTV, Channel 11 meteorologist. And we're going to be talking about her extraordinary meteorology career as a very popular morning meteorologist on the Fox affiliate in Los Angeles, Channel 11 in LA. But also she wrote a very, very special book, that we're going to talk about, dealing with loss, dealing with grief. Her husband had passed away at a young age and not that long ago. And she opened up on air and in her book about that experience and about the loss and helping people heal. And she will be with us tonight. So it's definitely a West Coast episode of shows today here on the Jim Master Show Live. So Maria will be with us live from Los Angeles coming up. Joyce Bulifant, who you saw heard mentioned, saw some photos with the Hollywood Museum. She's with us on Wednesday. She is an American legend, Hollywood legend. She has a new book, My 4 Hollywood Husbands. That's right. She's going to be with us as well. Hey, if you missed last night's episode when Ethan Slater, who played SpongeBob SquarePants on Broadway and so much more, he was with us. He played live. We had a great conversation with him last night. Check that out. Tomorrow night, celebrity caricaturist, illustrator, and artist extraordinaire Henry Lamar is going to be with us tomorrow, and we're looking forward to that. Check that out. It's going to be really, really amazing. Thank you very much, Kathleen. Fun show. Thanks, Jim. And you look marvelous. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. These are just some of the guests. Sue Matsuki is going to be with us as well. She's an amazing performer and singer and entertainer. She's going to be with us on Thursday. Again, that's for those of you who are watching the show live. If you're watching this later on, then you can just scroll through our archives. All of these shows, over 420 episodes of our series, are available for your binge watching on our YouTube channel. Even though we're streaming this, I treat this like a television show, like a television entertainment lifestyle talk show series, because of my background in TV and broadcast media. So I always treat this as like you're watching a TV show. You just happen to be watching it stream on the show. Marty, yes, if you missed it, go back in the archives. You're going to love it. The Hollywood Museum is truly a treasure in Hollywood, California. And we had the president and founder, DONELLE DADIGAN, on the show. She's also, an amazing person all the way around. And she's involved in so many incredible things. And she mentioned, which was actually a very special announcement, her involvement with the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. as well. And of course, the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, the California Film Commission, and so much more. You guys loving the idea of a field trip to the Hollywood Museum. That is really, really cool. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, gang, whether you're one of our regular viewers or you're watching this later on. We would love that. YouTube loves it. Click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our episodes and our pop-up shows. We're going to do a pop-up show this week. And when we do the pop-up show, I have this gift I still have to open from one of our lovely viewers and special guests, Marty Thompson, who was here on the show. We have this big box, and we wanted to do it on one of our lovely host chat shows, or surprise pop-up shows, as opposed to when we have a guest on. So we're going to be planning one of those. We wanted to do one last week, but time got away because I was so busy with PBS. And I'm very busy this week on the air with work on radio and television. But look for a surprise pop-up show coming up this week. And we're going to open live on the air this big box and this amazing gift that our friend Marty Thompson delivered to us. And thanks to all of you who have been sending cards and gifts and beautifully handwritten letters and Instagram messages and posts and private messages and so much more. That means the world to me, letting me know that you really enjoy what we're doing here on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. As I say, every episode is something different, unique, special, and pretty cool. We always have a good time, lots of fun. We always learn something. And there's lots of levity on this show as well. And of course, our famous levity. So we've got another show coming up in just a couple of hours, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, with an amazing guest and an inspiring story. Again, Fox LA meteorologist Maria Corban is going to be with us, and it's going to be really a very special episode. So they're all special here on the show. Again, we thank our very special guest, DONELLE DADIGAN, from the Hollywood Museum in Hollywood, California, which is in the Max Factor building, which is something really, really cool. And don't you just love how they preserve the building and the way that they did? I just think really, really something special has happened there. And again, here are just some of the exhibits. That's the Pointer Sisters exhibit. If you didn't see when we had Ruth and Anita Pointer on the show as my special guests, what a riot that episode was of the Jim Masters Show Live. You can check that out. That's their exhibit. Here are some more cool exhibits along the way. And again, the exhibits, there she is there as well. The exhibits change all the time. There's that beautiful lobby we talked about. There's the Godfather's original scripts. And somebody asked, is that the movie? Yes. And of course, the Bionic Woman. Yeah, Lindsay Wagner right there. The original makeup, Max Factor, because it's in the Max Factor building. Some of the amazing people, again, that have passed through as well. Just really extraordinary place. And we're so excited to be able to share it with all of you here. Not just in the United States, but around the world. We have an international audience here. Alessandra says, that is so beautiful. They did a great job, didn't they? Absolutely. Hey, Marty, that's awesome. Jim, I missed you in your celebrities. We missed you too. I hope you're doing well. Hello to Babette. It's good to have you here. Kathleen says, have a great day. See you later. We're going to grab some dinner here in between shows. Got a busy day of the Jim Masters Show live episodes here. So again, you can find us on our YouTube channel, Jim Master TV. Subscribe. If you love this episode, drop a comment. We would love that. Right there on the bottom of this episode, on this video, on our YouTube channel. We would love that. Post it on the YouTube channel. And click the notification bell. First, click subscribe if you haven't. That's that big red button that says subscribe. There's no cost. And the little bell icon to the right of it. Click that. That's the notification bell. so you don't miss any of our episodes as well. We always do something special. We always do something unique here on our show. So we're going to toast you. Going to reach you all the way over here because we've got George Burns, Audrey Jeannie Gilligan. We pulled out some of your lovely favorites. Silver is there. Casper, you can see the top of Casper's head. We knew that this episode bringing out those cast of characters. Lin, the big panda, is still with us. Some of you have been asking about the panda on the other side of our home studio here, and we will be bringing Lin out. I think when we do a pop-up host viewer chat levity show this week, we will bring out Lin and Casper and Silver and some of your other cast of character favorites. We toast you in the I Love Lucy mug since we've been doing Hollywood themed conversation today on JMS Live. It's now iced coffee. It always is because I'm so involved with everything. It never stays warm. Jen says, thanks, Jim. See you tonight. Good to see you, Jen. Great questions you guys had as well for Donelle or Dee Dee. She's amazing. And Marty, one of the lovities. Yes, Marty knows he's a lovity. He loves it. Babette is too. See you all later. Juanita as well. And Christine Clifton says, Jim, this was a very interesting show with Donelle. Gorgeous museum. See you all later this week. Photography Club, first person meeting. Fantastic. So check out those archives. I love photography myself. I've been in several photography clubs, so enjoy that. I'll be sharing some more pictures. Also, a gang, if you want to send us your pictures on the host chat surprise pop-up show we do, it's probably going to be more of an afternoon show. I'm going to be showing some of the pictures that you guys have been sending. Juanita sent in photos and Wozniak sent in photos as well. So send us your photos to jimmasterstv@gmail.com. Tell us what the photos are and we'll show some of them. They could be your vacations. They could be your family. They could be virtually anything. We're going to be sharing some of our summer photos on an upcoming episode, host chat levity pop-up episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. We don't just have guests on the show. We have a full experience here of variety and interaction on the Jim Masters Show Live. So it's not just doing interviews with fabulous people. We also like to interact with all of you, our faithful viewers who watch all the time. We also have a Facebook group for the show, JMS Live Levity Hall. That's JMS Live Levity Hall. You can find it on Facebook. And you can find me on Facebook at Jim Masters TV, also Twitter and Instagram, all at Jim Masters TV. So check it out. And as we've said multiple times, our YouTube channel as well. Good stuff, gang. Yes, great work for Donelle. I agree. And Lin, love till next time and hugs. Thanks to you as well, Jen and Christine and Juanita. Never a dull moment on JMS Live. You got it, Juanita. And lots of love, laughter, and learning. It really is a nice blend, a nice cool mix, isn't it? For all of us, I learn too. I share, but I also learn. And I think that's really important. So, gang, parting is such sweet sorrow, but not for long. We'll be back in just a couple of hours. And then any of you missed any of our episodes, don't forget they're all available on our channel, YouTube, Jim Masters TV, The Jim Masters Show. Don't forget to smile, gang. Don't forget to share the levity. Don't forget to find your Zen place. Mine is with family and friends. And of course, the ocean, swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, sailing it. I love the ocean. Got to drag me out of it. And one time we were in Florida with family and I was swimming in the ocean and the family was packing up and getting ready to go. And they're like, okay, Jim, we're ready to go. And I said, oh, why are we leaving? And they said, well, it's starting to rain. And I said, starting to rain, I'm in the ocean. I'm already wet. They said, yeah, but it's starting to lightning. So we did have to go. But the ocean I love. And of course, my work in television and film and stage, on air, on camera, as well as behind the scenes, also very zen for me as well. I also love photography and gardening and writing and cycling and tennis and baseball. And yeah, I'm a cyclist as well and swimming. So a little bit about your host here. Good stuff. And Jen has already prepared her binge watching of the Jim Masters Show Live, or live watching. As she watches our show later on, she'll be having Jersey Mike's cold Italian hoagies and cold sweet wine salute. Sounds like a plan. You'll be having that tonight while you watch us. We're going to be having chicken. Yes, it's coming out of the oven real soon. Can't wait. And you'll see us at 8 p.m. Eastern, our summer hours. We love it. Gang, we're going to wrap. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We will be back in just a couple of hours, and we look forward to seeing all of you there. If you're not with us, check out the archives. They're there for all of you to enjoy. And something important, continue to spread the word about our special, unique place we've created. Share it with everybody. I know it's a wonderful enclave we've got here, but share it. The more the merrier. The more that watch, the more views, the more people that check us out. That helps the show big time, helps us grow, helps us continue to deliver all this great content that we do as we put a lot of time and effort into these shows. And spread the word. Tell all your friends and family about our show, your colleagues, your co-workers, folks you think that would really get a kick out of the Jim Masters Show live. Jen loves chicken too. And Alessandra in North Carolina, USA, she's making pork tenderloin. Ooh, that sounds good. Dinner at Alessandra's tonight. Gang, we love you all. Thanks for being with us. We shall return in a couple of hours. Our goodbyes always take forever, don't they? But we're going to say see you later. We don't say goodbye here. We'll check you out later. Check us out later. And enjoy your dinner if you're having dinner or breakfast or whatever you're doing. Because a lot of people watch this series at all kinds of different times of the day. So just have a good day. And we will see you again real soon. One more comment coming in, and we are flying the coop. Y'all are welcome to come and eat. Ooh, that sounds good. Ta-ta for now. Good way to put it, my friend. Alessandra in North Carolina. Ciao, everybody. See you soon. We'll be back momentarily with another episode of the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series, just for you and you and you and you and you, which we've always said on the show. And in Southern California there, not far from Hollywood. See you soon. Thanks, Ann. We love it. We'll see you guys soon. All right. Take care. You guys are the best. See you soon. A couple of hours on the Jim Masters Show Live. Like Alessandra said, ta-ta. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.